It is currently Sunday and I am going to do a little bit of meal prep stuff for the week. And right now I'm going to get together a curry paste that I use to make a chicken tikka masala dish from the Half-Baked Harvest cookbook. And so I just make the curry paste ahead of time and I portion it into like 3 or 4 different little packets, and then I put it in the freezer for when I want to make the dish and I just get it out. This meal prepping, this is not something I do more than once a week, maybe once every other week, this intense, this many things. This is just because I have a lot of things I need to get rid of. We're going out of town in a few weeks and I wanted to, it's easier to do it all at once and cut everything together and portion it off and freeze it and then have meals to access, because freezer meals are great. And I'd say I make about 2 new recipes a week to try something new. And other than that, normally we have like a Taco Tuesday. I've been trying to do pizzas on Friday or steak with a vegetable one night of the week. But for this situation, we will probably have one new meal a week, some of our usuals, and then I will pull from the freezer 2 or 3 meals, if not more, per week, because I home make lunches and I like making things from scratch. I just feel like it tends to be healthier for us. As far as our diet goes, we aim to be really healthy, but we're not super strict, especially when we leave the house. We're definitely no sugar, no preservatives, as little processed food as we can get, but when we leave the house, that rule kind of goes out the window. But for the most part, these are pretty regular meals for us. And I like to try new things. Sometimes I have a kick where I go into like a Italian mode. I made homemade gnocchi last week and it was really good. Good morning. Today we are doing a lot of meal prepping. We started with getting the dough fermented and ready for the dumpling wrappers that we're going to be making the French onion dumplings tonight. So they're pork dumplings that I had made previously and frozen the filling, and I will make the dough fresh and then put the filling in there and then make the soup tonight as well. Sometimes I batch make the soup, but I did not do that this time. And then we had eggs and leftover Israeli salad for breakfast, and I made the curry paste yesterday. And then right now I'm making a chicken noodle soup to freeze. I don't think we're going to be eating any of that this week, but we've had some sicklings in the house the last week, and we went through our soup stash. So we're going to be replenishing that today. And for lunch, we're going to try liver and onions. The crowd is excited. And I've never soaked it in milk before ahead of time, but I heard that makes it better. So we're going to give that a shot and probably freeze a little of that. And that is our plan for the day. We are sitting tight. We don't really have anything to do outside the house aside from enjoy the nice weather. We will be doing that in between making all of this. So I know that some of these recipes might be kind of hard to follow along with because I did everything concurrently, but I'm gonna place everything with the recipes so that it's a little bit easier to follow with instructions. As far as the chicken soup goes, I will put kind of my rough recipe estimate down below, but I just kind of wing this. It's whatever I have left in my fridge and root cellar and everything. So today I had some celery, but not much. Quite a few carrots that I just wanted to get rid of because they were getting older. I put 2 onions and I just cut those up and put them in together. I salt them so they can sweat. I don't know, I've heard this from some French recipe videos that you need to sweat the sofrito, which is the onions, carrots, and celery. So I sweat the sofrito and then I add the chicken. I used skinned bone-in thighs today, which you'll see is pretty annoying for me once I have to take the chicken out and get everything off the bone. A lot of chefs and stuff say that it tastes better to leave the bone-in skin on when you cook it, but I haven't really noticed the difference. It is just another step or two, but I wanted to get rid of that chicken in my freezer, so I threw that in even like half frozen and it worked out fine. I throw in some thyme, a bay leaf. I like to use fresh parsley, but you can use dried, salt, pepper, and quite a bit of dill. A lot of people recommend fresh dill. I don't have any of that, so I just use the dried one. But I don't add noodles if I'm going to just freeze it because I don't want them to get all soggy. So once I put the chicken back in, I have a pretty concentrated bone broth that I use, the kettle and fire. I think I used about 6 cups, 2 cups of the beef that I had left over from the dinner that I'm gonna be making, and then 4 cups of the chicken broth that I had. And so I put those together, and so it's pretty concentrated. So when I take it out of the freezer and defrost it and put it into a pan, I'm going to add a little bit of water to dilute it, probably like a cup or 2, and then I add the noodles and cook them in there when I'm reheating it. So that's kind of been my methodology, and it works best, and I'll add just like a little bit of pepper, salt, whatever it needs. The liver was a hit with the 3-year-old boy. The 1-year-old girl did not like it. She ended up feeding it to the dogs, who also really liked it. I thought it wasn't that bad. I ended up freezing some of them and will just make new caramelized onions. I probably should have caramelized the onions more than I did in hindsight, but it wasn't my favorite dish, but I'd probably try it again to see if I could do it better. For now, we are going to play outside, have quiet nap time, and I'm going to do my dumplings here in a little bit, and then we'll probably have a calm, quiet evening. Maybe. Here are the finished dumplings, and I'm just going to put a little water in here and dunk them in the water and then dunk them on the sesame seeds before I put them in the pan. So for the kids, I gave the 3-year-old a little bit of onions and broth. And for the 1-year-old, she got the dumplings all cut up, and she's obviously very hungry. Turned out looking delicious. I had to give my husband a little bit less here because he's still not feeling very well and doesn't want a ton of food, but mine looks decadent. So the soup was a hit. Everybody loved it. I did the dishes, started the dishwasher like I do every night. We gave the kids a bath. I took a shower. Now they're off to bed, and I'm gonna have a cup of tea and do a little bit of stuff this evening on the computer and probably relax a little bit. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.